What I want to talk about today is probably the most influential change to my study routine and the way that I study at university, like by far. It has absolutely changed the way that I approach my university studies as an absolute whole. And that is Anki, or Anki, I'm not sure. It's either Anki or Anki. I've always called it Anki, but then sometimes I call it Anki. So I might swap and change throughout the video, and if I say it some way that you don't really like it or it's not how you say it, I really do apologize, and feel free to just chuck subtitles on and mute the whole video if it's driving you nuts. Hey friends, how are we doing today? I hope you're doing really well. Welcome back. My name's Harry and I'm a third year paramedic student studying at Victoria University in Australia. Also, undergoing the medicine application process, hopefully going to get into medicine next year. Interview offers come out early September or late September, I can't even remember anymore. I've been waiting for way too long. It is absolutely freezing here today, hence why I've got two jumpers on, this one with my hoodie, and then this jumper here. And I don't know if you guys can see out there as well, like through the window, but the condensation is crazy. When I woke up today, it was like 2 degrees and absolutely just freezing. So this is something that I actually feel really passionate about, because it's something that I went through a whole degree and a half before actually realizing that, oh my God, I've been studying wrong my entire life. Because we're always told at school, study, make sure you study. Make sure that you study hard and you work hard so you can get good grades. But we're never actually told how to study. We're never actually properly sat down and gone, okay, here is the evidence-based research that explains how is best to study and how best to learn content. And what happens? We're all left to just flail around and figure it out by ourselves, and eventually most of us just end up studying subpar despite the amount of work that it feels like that we're doing. Anki has completely changed this all for the better. Essentially, Anki is a program that allows you to create flashcards, and then it will automatically sort and display them for you as you go through them. Now, this is the good part. This is the part that makes Anki actually really special, is that it manages to implement both active recall and the forgetting curve into the application seamlessly, so that all you have to do is just answer the questions. Oh, well, you have to make the cue cards and then just answer the questions. Now, keep your eyes peeled for my video coming up in the next coming weeks, where I really break down and kind of explain what active recall is and how it's beneficial and why I think every person in university should utilize it to study for their exams. The really cool thing as well about Anki is how well it utilizes the forgetting curve. Now, the forgetting curve is essentially the rule of how quickly you forget content unless you continually refresh yourself and reset that rate of forgetfulness. Again, I'm probably gonna have a video talking about the forgetfulness curve in the next couple of weeks coming up on my channel. So keep your eyes peeled if you wanna learn more about why that's beneficial and why it's important to actually stay on top of it, ensure that you are continually revising and relearning your content. The app is actually really straightforward to use too. Essentially, all you have to do is just write a question, put the answer in underneath, and then voila, done, card. Move on to the next one. You're then able to sort all of your cards into specific decks based on topics that you want to study. So it might be like cardiology or rheumatology or neurology or anything. Like, for example, in my paramedicine degree, you'll see here that I've got like CPG drugs, which are all the drugs and the medications we need to learn for our specific guidelines for each illness. And then I've got like ECG and cardiac, which is just ECGs and cardiac rules. And I've got a couple little niche other little topics for other little things for our guidelines. So when I want to study them, instead of having to shift through all of my cards, I can just choose that deck and go. And it might be like 5 or 6 cards, but that way I'm studying exactly what I want to study when I want to study it. You can also see that there's that green number next to all of my decks as well. That essentially tells you how many cards you have ready to study in that deck. Now you can see that I've got quite a lot of different green cards, and that's purely only because I've just been on holidays for about the last week, and there's no way that I'm touching my flashcards or any study whatsoever. I'm giving myself some time off. The reason this app is so valuable to your study routine as well is because of how effectively it does utilize that active recall, which is honestly the most beneficial way that you can study for your exams and for your content in general. Through using Anki, not only am I learning things easier and faster, but I'm also studying for less time. And with the feedback timings for each card, it's actually allowing me to remember content for longer as I'm constantly refreshing that forgetting curve. So the way it utilizes this is that each time you've answered a question, it then displays down the bottom of the screen 4 colors, or it might be 2 colors or 3 colors, depending on how much you've used that card. But essentially you'll then able to use those colors to be able to allocate how easy, hard, or absolutely impossible you didn't get it at all that card was. So the colors are dark gray, red, blue, and green. I think I got that right. Spot on. So as an example, you'd have green, and green is really easy card. And so that might have the time frame of say 2 weeks. So then it won't show you that card again in the deck for another 2 weeks. Move on to blue, and blue, which is a little bit easier, it might be like 8 days. And then dark gray might be say 2 or 3 days. And then red might be, have no idea, didn't get it right at all. It'd be like 10 minutes. And then it'll chuck it straight back in so that you can actually answer it and get it right this study session. The app also syncs across all your devices as well. So I have it on my Mac, I have it on my desktop, I have it on my phone that I'm currently recording with. It syncs across all of them so you can study whether you're on the train, on the bus, whether you're at uni, whether you're at home, you always have access to your flashcards. And best of all, it's free. All you have to do is download it and you can jump straight in. Unless you want to buy it from the Apple Store for your iPhone. In which case, I think it's like $30 or something, which is quite strange because it's free everywhere else. I'm not quite sure why that's the case. But either way, if you do want to use it on your phone, like on your iPhone or on your MacBook, just use the desktop browser app, because as far as I'm aware, it runs pretty seamlessly to the actual app, and you can just use it's pretty well mobile optimized, and you can just use it for free. So there you have it, a quick little review of good old Anki and some of the positives about it and why I think every student should be using Anki to really benefit themselves and give themselves the biggest edge possible for their exams. If you're not already using Anki, which I would imagine at this point would be almost everybody watching the video, because if you did already know what Anki was and you did already use Anki, I imagine this probably would have been a pretty boring video for you, and I'm sure you would have clicked away and started watching something much more interesting much earlier than this. But hey, if you do have Anki and you have stuck around for the whole video, maybe you're a real true fan. I appreciate it. But if you're not using Anki, then I strongly recommend to download it and at least give it an hour or 2 of your time to familiarize yourself with the program and see if it works for you. Because if you give it about a week, I am sure that you'll never look back. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like and subscribe down the bottom, and feel free to check out my other videos talking about study tactics, GameSat, and just medicine and a little bit of productivity as a whole. Feel free to leave a comment down below as well about absolutely anything. You can talk about your study techniques or anything to do with anything really, and I'll definitely pop down and give it a look. Alright, until next time guys, see ya.